and that is 625829 or email contact@sanjaytaxpro.com.
Good afternoon. Happy Sunday.
Yes, Namaskar Bay Area. I'm Vijay Lakshmi and that is Nagraj Anaya and you've tuned into Real Estate Roundup brought to you by Nagraj Homes, your go-to for all things real estate. Well, each week we catch up on what's hot, what's happening and trending in the Bay Area with Realtor Nagraj Anaya, who's your trusted Bay Area tech realtor and the founder of nagrajhomes.com. So, join us in this conversation with your take on the Bay Area real estate. Are you curious or concerned if this is the right time to buy or sell or invest in a home? What's been your observation as you wend your way through the real estate maze? Or do you need some encouragement and motivation to really take that plunge? Well, whatever it is, Nagraj is here for you and most happy to steer you in the right direction. So call us with what's on your mind real estate wise. The studio lines are now open on Volley 92.3 FM and we're there for you. The call us at 408-912-5038. That is the number and I'll go slow with it 408-912-5038. And with that, welcome Nagraj.
Hello, Vijay Lakshmi. Hello, Bay Area. Hope you guys are having a great Sunday out there. I think weather is cloudy today. It's always welcome to December month, where the
Yeah,
weather is kind of always changing in, right?
cloudy and chilly a bit,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Uh,
yeah.
Thank you, Vijay Lakshmi. You are joining after a couple of months break, but
Yes, happy to
Bay
be
Area is
back.
still, yeah, but Bay Area is always active.
Yes,
Uh,
what's happening? What updates do you have for the Bay
yeah,
Area?
I think let's give out the number. The listeners out there, please.
408, yeah, 912-5038. That number 408-912-5038. Call in with your questions, anything that's on your mind, big or small. Nothing really is big or small. We'd love to talk to you through it. Nagraj is always ready to help and educate you, equip you as you go into this overwhelming process of real estate, and you'll be doing others a favor as well. It causes a ripple effect. Other people can also share what's on their mind, so you'll be doing everybody a favor. Give us a call. That number 408-912-5038. Yes,
Okay,
Nagraj.
let me start with an update,
Yeah.
right? Like you're asking me an update. So yesterday I'd been to a couple of open houses.
Huh.
Okay, one open house in Milpitas. That house was listed for what, close to a 990, 3 bed 2 bath. Lot of people in the open house. People
Mm-hmm.
were like in the line to see the house. Okay, but the same 1.25 million house in Milpitas, it's a single family house listed for what, I think they had listed close to 1.35 earlier, 50K reduced. Not much many people in the open house. Like people
Mm.
were like coming in, maybe at 12 people in the open house. That's what I'd seen from 1 to 4.
Yeah.
So if you're listing a right price still in the Bay Area in the month of December,
Mm.
right, you get a very good crowd still. A lot of
Okay.
people are showing an interest to buy a house still in a December month.
Yes.
Okay. So if you are in a seller, especially, right, watch out when you are going to list it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And before going to talking about the seller perspective, right, let me talk
Yeah.
about few more pointers on the last week, what happened in.
Yes.
So last week, especially Fidelity National Title and Chicago Title, these are the escrow companies had the complete shutdown for 2 weeks. Okay. The shutdown was because of the security breach and the no transactions were happening from the last 2 weeks.
Oh.
Okay, so if you're into dealing with this Chicago title or a Fidelity National title, right,
Mm.
watch out, because if there is any security breaches happens, there might be delay in the closings. Okay,
Okay.
so we had a delay of 2 weeks of closing last week. Okay, so that is why watch out for these whichever the closing companies
Title
you're working
companies.
on or
Uh-huh.
title companies you're
Yeah.
working on, right? So there might be a delay. Okay. So, and one more thing I wanted to share an update on the if there is any plumbing leak, right?
Mhm.
You just bought a recently in a house and there's a plumbing leak in the houses. How do
Yeah.
you go about it? Because you just closed, but seller handed over the keys to you and you are not sure what would happen, right? Like recently, one of my client bought a house in, it's in a condo property. They bought it in a Saratoga.
Mhm.
Okay. But the keys was handed over. The next day, the seller means the other owner of the property, right? They complained there's a leak, the leak from the property. Okay, when I went and checked it around, the leak was a small leak coming out from the toilet. Okay, from the toilet there were small droplets coming in. Because of that, the garage of the neighbor unit, right, it was getting the droplets around there.
Uh-huh.
So who is responsible for this?
Hmm.
Right? So there are two things. One thing when you're selling or when you're buying the property, right, you need to have a home warranty. Home
Okay.
warranty with plumbing included. With
Mhm.
plumbing included, right? That's very important because anything like this, it will be covered.
Yeah. So the key is home warranty with
Key is
plumbing
home
included.
warranty.
Mhm.
So you need to watch out for that because
Yeah.
that's very, very important.
Mhm. Yeah. Right, right.
Okay. Listeners, if you have any questions, do give us we are
Yeah, give
live.
us a call 408-912-5038. 408-912-5038. Talking to Nagraj Anaya, the founder of nagrajhomes.com, who can give you that edge that is necessary in today's fast-paced market, whether it is that you're finding a home with everything on your checklist or helping you get ready to move. He's got you covered with the advertising, with the financing, with the inspection, with the closing assistance. He can handle it all from start to finish, and of course even provide those tips and tricks on staging, on minor home improvements. And if you're looking to sell that home fast, he's the man you want to go to. Give him a call, or you can stop by Nagraj Homes as well. And the number to reach him offline is 408-805-4653 or nagrajhomes.com. But right here, right now, while we have him on the airwaves, you pick up the I'm dating myself, but you call us 408-912-5038 with anything that's on your mind, real estate wise.
So
So
in this case, right, like since
yeah.
the seller just closed it, the seller would be responsible for this because
Uh-huh.
because the leaking was happening during this thing, right?
Yeah.
The seller would be paying for any damage or on the sheetrock and everything. Okay, but as a precautionary for yourself, always take the home warranty. But if you buy the home warranty, also typically it starts the coverage from the 1 month after the closing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this home warranty, what all it will covers is like it will cover your all the electrical all your appliances like a
Mm.
washer, dryer, refrigerator.
Yeah.
Okay, and even the HVAC systems and the
Mm-hmm.
garage, some part of the garage doors. Okay,
Right.
so since the seller is, it again comes down to who is going to pay for the home warranty
Yeah.
during the offer time, right? If you are asked for the seller to pay for it, it's around 800 to a $900 for a year. Okay, it
Mm.
again depends on the square footage of the home. If it, and it does it have a swimming pool. Okay, it should be a less than $1,000.
Mm.
But as an agent, if you have a negotiated, or as a buyer, if you had a negotiated with the seller to pay for it, it would be in a great asset because of this kind of
Ah.
unimaginable things can happen, right? Like because it's finally it's an appliances or the kind of the things which can happen break in any time.
Right.
You might have been inspected, but still you don't know when it can break.
So you should have negotiated, but otherwise you have to have had that
Otherwise, as a
home
buyer,
warranty.
you need to buy for that. Okay,
Uh-huh.
there used to be
But
sometimes
when would you buy it? Because you're still in the process of.
this is during the before the closing. Okay,
Uh-huh.
before the closing, you need to call for the all this American Home Shield or the other
Mm-hmm.
companies around home warranty companies and ask them to generate an invoice. Okay,
Oh, okay.
once you generate an invoice and send it to an escrow company will pay for the fees for that.
Okay. Huh.
So you need to, it's a great asset. It might be a
Yeah.
very lesser fees, but as a buyer, you bought it recently in a house and already you're in a tight bottleneck on your payments, and on top of this you need to cover all these expenses, it becomes an hard for you, right?
Hmm.
So I have this kind of an home warranty. Home warranty insurance is different from the home insurance. Okay, home insurance is like basically it covers for the home dwelling. Basically, it's like anything on the other stuffs on the house, right? Like, but home warranty is a different. Home
Hmm.
warranty it covers only your appliances and a plumbing leaks,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but it's a great asset for yourself as a home buyer. Do watch
Buyer.
out for that.
Right. That is great advice right
And
there.
especially in the condo, one thing I wanted to touch upon is like in the condo units, right? Like in the
Mm-hmm.
condo units, in the common areas, if there is some leaks, right? Then in that case, you can go ask for the HOA to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's happening from your unit, then you are responsible for it.
Hmm. Okay. Right.
Okay. So in this case, also, whatever I mentioned earlier, also it was a small drops coming out from the toilet, but it was leaking in the garage of the neighbor house.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Even the drops can make cause the sheetrock to get damaged, right? Then you
Hmm.
need to put in a new sheetrock for that. Then you might be paying for that. Do
So
watch
in this case, who paid then? The seller.
in this case the seller would be paying for it
Okay.
because
Mm-hmm.
it happened on right time during a closing, like,
Hmm.
right, like then the seller might be responsible, but if the seller says I can't pay for it,
Yeah.
then you have the additional backout for the
Yes.
your
So you
own
have to
warranty.
be equipped with.
Listeners, if
Yeah.
you're also into this kind of, if you had gone through this kind of stuff, right, and you recently bought a house, and like you might be thinking, dude, why did I buy the house, right? Or if you're going through kind of a buyer's remorse, right, you can give us a call. We are live. And if
Yeah.
you bought a house but you are happy,
Yeah.
you can also share with us how
Yes.
did it go with it. uh,
Either way. Either
Either
way.
way, do
Hmm.
give us a call. We are live on Bolly 92.3. And
Yes.
if you're not able to connect us, you can always give us a call after the show also.
Yeah.
You can give us a number, Vijay
So
Lakshmi.
408-912-5038 is the number to get in touch. 408-912-5038. Anything that's on your mind real estate wise. And you know, Nagraj Anaya, the founder of Nagraj Homes, is the person your go-to if you, and he knows the area really inside out, the Bay Area, and he can work with you to find that right home at the right price. Including all of the neighborhood amenities. He's got everything really under his fingertips. So you need to, you know, just reach out to him and be assured that you'll be in the right hands when it comes to buying a home. And even when you're selling a home, you know, you need someone who markets that home right.
Selling.
You find the right buyer and negotiate on your behalf. You oversee all of the inspections, so much to go through, the paperwork, the supervising at the closing, so many things from start to finish. So you need the subject matter expert, and that's Nagraj. He can help you. So Nagraj, we're always talking about buying a home, but let's talk
Let's talk
about
about the selling, right? That's why,
selling.
as you said, the selling.
Yeah.
I called up selling. Let's talk about selling today. Uh,
Yeah.
so I think Vijay Lakshmi, a lot of sellers, right, they forget about the some costs they might think when they come across, right? Like what are the unknown costs, like
Yeah.
basically as a seller comes across?
Yes. They only think that what are we going to get at the end
Get,
of it, but there's
but
costs involved as a
cost
seller as
involved,
well.
right? Like, let me talk about the county perspective, right? Like, let's
Yeah.
start with, for example, you're in Almaden, right? In the Almaden, buyer most of the times, like escrow, not most of the times, like again, it's a standard fees in the Almaden, right? Like in the Almaden, escrow charges are paid for the buyer. Title fees, owner's policy, right, is paid by the buyer. But documentary transfer tax are paid by the seller.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you're in a Santa Clara County, right?
Yeah.
The Santa Clara County escrow is paid by the seller, title fees are paid by the seller, and the documentary transfer tax are also paid by the seller.
Oh, wow.
It
Okay.
again depends on where you're selling in. It's an Alameda County or Santa Clara County. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it, all the three fees in each counties are differing. The seller would be paying all these three fees in case of Santa Clara. It's good for the buyer, but for the seller, it's a reverse, right? All the threes are handled by the seller. But in case of the transfer tax, in Alameda is only paid by the seller. Okay.
Mhm.
And on top of it, what are the other things you can end up, right?
Yes.
So one thing is the moving cost. If you're moving into a different state, for example, recently one of my client, they were moving in from California to a Texas, the moving cost, what are the moving costs associated for the move,
Mhm.
right? That they need to watch out. Okay. And one more thing is the transfer tax. One more thing is like the property tax. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have like unpaid property taxes, right, that needs to be paid in. And for example, if you're closing by December, then you need to be paying up to a December. And one more thing, the December 10th is coming out. If you guys are like, it's a what's a thing you need to remember on a December 10th?
Property tax
Dues for the property tax.
payment. Yeah. Installment
Listeners,
one.
if it's a
I
December
just
10th
paid.
is coming in, if you recently bought a property,
Yeah.
December 10th is the deadline for your first installment. Okay. The
Yes.
second installment would be due by April 10th. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So watch out for the dues in your property tax.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's a
And
great reminder for folks if you're
and
lagging
do certain
behind.
reminders for yourself, like a lot of
Yeah.
payments would be there, right? Like set a reminder for your December 10th and April 10th, which are very, very important on the property tax. So because you do a 2 installments payments, right? Like, so do the set up an reminders for that.
Reminder. Mm-hmm.
And coming back to the fees associated to the what the seller pays, one is what we discussed about the all the closing cost wise, and then the
Mm-hmm.
property tax, right?
Yeah.
And one more important is, again, when you get an offer from any of the buyers, do watch out for if the buyer is requesting for anything towards the buyer closing cost. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the terms might be, you might miss that. Buyer might have written an offer such that they might be asking for a 5,000 or a 10,000 towards the closing cost.
Mm.
Okay. So
Okay.
watch out for that closing cost terms from the
Mm-hmm.
in the offer. You might be missing out that, but it's
Yeah.
very important to watch out on that.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and again,
So
as
let me, Nagra, let me give out the number if folks are, listening to us. You've tuned into Real Estate Roundup with Nagraj Anaya, the founder of nagrajhomes.com. And as you can tell, he's an expert in the local area. He brings a wealth of his knowledge and expertise on the local communities, on the current market conditions, and the entire home buying and selling process. So if you are looking to do any of this, whether buying, selling, investing, you need to reach out to Nagraj, and that's at nagrajhomes.com. Or you can call him offline. It's 408-805-4653. That's his number. But call us right now in the time that we have. If there's any burning questions on your mind, you don't know which way to navigate, or you need some guidance, some assistance, he's more than happy to help. So 408-912-5038 is the number. In the studios, you can call us right now, 408-912-5038. Yes, Nagraj.
and one more important thing is repairs and maintenance, right? This is like before you list, right? All this inspections needs to be done properly. Okay. And if something is there on the repairs and the maintenance, right? That is also one of the things you might forget it.
Yeah.
Okay. So if, for example, sometimes like there might be a termite worth of 10,000 or a termite worth of a 5,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So better as a seller, you better fix that. Okay. It again comes down to, is it in a section 1 termites or a section 2 termites? Okay.
Yeah.
The section 1 termites are critical. Okay.
Okay.
I've recently, one of the property I'd been to into Morganell. Okay. So the property was sitting for us last 75 days. Okay. Reason the property was sitting for the last 75 days is the seller didn't want to do the inspections and a termite. Okay. If you're not doing any inspections and a termite for the 30 years property, as a buyer, how can you think about is a house is good? You might call out as a seller, you might be saying it, house is good, house is good.
Yeah.
But nobody knows what's inside the property. So always have the inspection and the termite to be done. Okay. And the roof report.
Yeah.
All these 3 things are very important.
Wow. Great advice right there. Inspection, termite, and roof.
Inspections, termite, and a roof.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay,
Mm.
so all these three inspections having it, right, it helps you out. And if something is a major things, right, like as I told you, some roof leaks might be noted, right, do fix the roof leaks.
Yeah.
You can't sell your house with the roof leaks, because you can sell it, of course, then you can basically you can get it, you will not be getting the price what you like it. And very important, right,
Mm.
when anything you fix it, that needs to be listed.
Mm.
You need to be disclosing that as a seller. You can't hide a without disclosing it, you can't sell it.
Mhm.
Any renovations have been done in the house, disclose.
Disclose.
Selling is all about disclose, disclose, disclose.
Okay.
So you need anything changes in the house or anything modifications in the house needs to be disclosed. If you have done a painting in the house, disclose.
Mm.
Okay. You
Okay.
have done anything on the landscaping upgrades, disclose.
Okay. Selling is equal to disclose. That's the takeaway.
Buying is all about location.
Uh-huh.
Selling is all about disclose.
Okay. Nice. Mm-hmm.
Because that protects for the sellers,
Yeah.
right? You think I want to patch up, I found something, I patched up and sell it. No, don't do that.
Mm.
Even a small things, whatever you have done, disclose.
Right. Yeah.
Because
So,
it's a
but we always talk about, like, is this a good time to buy home? So, when is a good time to sell a home?
that's a great thing, right? I think two things we can frame a question in a two ways, right? Like, what are the things we need to do it for getting a good price?
Yeah.
And is it a right time to sell? Actually, the November, December, maybe I can put it as December and the couple of weeks of a January are the slow time for the sellers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you're planning to list, unless it's an emergency for you, don't list it out.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you get a top dollars for your house?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's very, very
Ultimately,
important,
that's
right?
what.
A lot
Mm-hmm.
of sellers think my neighbor house sold for 1.5. Even without even comparing what is in your house, you think I can get it for a 1.6.
Yeah.
No, right? First thing is always you need to watch out what are the things, as I told you earlier, right? Repairs and maintenance,
Mm.
right? What are the repairs and maintenance? Like, for example, as I told you earlier, the painting. For example, maybe a painting might include, it's basically out your exterior painting, right? Might be increase your curb appeal, right? So watch out for that. Anything like a curb appeal, like for example, landscaping related, right? Small landscaping improvements.
Yeah.
So that might increase the curb appeal of the property. So do all the repairs and maintenance. For example, I was in Sunnyvale recently to list out one property, right? So there are two ways to do it. One is like maybe do a complete renovation for a 200, 250K.
Yeah.
And do the math. Does the house even sell for a 2.5?
Mm.
Maybe a 25K upgrades. Does the house sell to a close to a 2.5?
Uh-huh.
So that overspending also is very important, right? Don't do a overspending on your selling.
Mm.
Like for example, somebody says like go complete renovation of the house. Okay.
Yeah.
But do you sell for that higher price because you don't know what is your next buyer's choice, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. How extensively do you do the
That is very
renovation?
important because that's lot of sellers forget on that.
Mm-hmm.
How much extensively you do the remodeling
Yeah.
or do the minimum upgrades and get for the good price.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
The
Mm-hmm.
one house yesterday I'd been for this was like the house was a 900 square footage in Milpitas. Okay. But the seller did one mistake. What he did was like he added the second bathroom without an permit. Okay. Any upgrades you are done with without permits, right? During a selling, it
Yeah.
might hurt you.
Right.
Because
Mhm.
buyers, as always, you might be there's a first time home buyers, right? They get panicked, unpermitted
Yes.
things.
Correct. Correct.
Because
So
you
you
don't know
have to.
when the city come hunting you.
Yeah. Yeah. So we are almost out of time in this, very critical points that you brought up here, and I'm hoping we can talk further on it
Yeah,
in our
see,
next
especially the
session.
sellers selling a lot of
Yes.
things, ignore this. How much you need to spend
Yeah.
and how much you can basically sell.
Yeah.
That are the
Correct.
two things, right? Overspending versus what is the time, what is the price you get it.
Yes. Right. Right.
You should be
So
very careful on that. If you have any follow-up questions, listeners, do give me a call after this show. And if you're thinking about selling your house in the future, because selling might not happen immediately, you might be thinking in the next 3 or 4 months.
mhm.
I mean, as sellers, we am talking about like who might be selling in the next 7 months. But
Yeah.
we are always constantly thinking about the upgrades what we can make so that we
Right.
can get a right price.
Yes. So Nagraj is there with his expertise to work, and call him at 408-805-4653 or nagrajhomes.com. And of course, join us every Sunday, 12:30 to 1 p.m. only on Bolly 92.3 FM. And, count on his advice and guidance for what you need to know to make that best possible decision for all your real estate needs. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much,
much
Nagraj.
and have a
Appreciate
wonderful
it.
day, listeners. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Namaskar.
Advertise your business, product,